welcome to Chloe's Cook Nook. I'm here to make for you today a classic Chloe recipe, maybe even my signature, which are enchiladas, and specifically enchiladas verdes, which requires... Now, I usually make two kinds of enchiladas. I usually make a chicken or a black bean and white sweet potato. But when push comes to shove, we are in the middle of a global pandemic. So today we're using the ingredients that I have, which are sweet potatoes and black beans. And I don't have a white sweet potato today, I just have a regular sweet potato. So first things first, we have to address what's going in our enchiladas. So we need to cover what the ingredients are going to be. Today I'm using pre-cooked black beans. You can use dry black beans if you so choose, but they take a little bit longer. So pre-cooked black beans, you can actually whiz through this recipe if you need to. Next, you're gonna need your sweet potato. You can get these at any grocery store, and Kroger, if you live in Athens, Ohio, is actually delivering to your doorstep, so very convenient in the age of a global pandemic. You're gonna need your tortillas. I'm using small corn tortillas. This enables me to eat a lot of small enchiladas instead of a bunch of large enchiladas. And the last staple ingredient is the enchilada sauce. So, I would recommend this sauce. I prefer enchiladas verdes, which use green chilies. So, the next step is to actually peel and slice your sweet potato, because sweet potato skin is gross. Fortunately, I already have a sweet potato peeled. How convenient. So we're just gonna dice this, and you want your sweet potato nuggets to be relatively small. My goal is to make these little cubes about the size of a black bean. So everything in the inside of my enchilada is the same size. So I dice the sweet potatoes and then I mix them in a bowl with enough olive oil to coat all of my chunks and my spices. And I used cumin, garlic powder, paprika, chili powder, salt, and pepper. And really you just want enough of that stuff to coat your cubes. And then you're gonna roast them in the oven at 400 degrees. And I usually do for about a half an hour, and every 10 minutes or so you're going to want to go in and turn your potatoes so they don't burn. I actually forgot to turn my potatoes, and guess what, they're conveniently done here. So there they are, nice and golden on my rickety cookie sheet that's covered with foil. You can see, like, that piece is nice and burnt. You want to avoid that, so make sure you mix them up. But for the most part, it looks like I was pretty successful. I also have my beans cooking, and you can see my black beans there. They're warming up, and the idea here is we're going to take a little bit of potato and a little bit of bean, and we're going to put it in our fried tortilla. And I'm actually heating up some oil now, so let's take a look at that. Okay, so the next phase of the process is you're going to take one of your corn tortillas and you're going to put it in your hot oil. And this is, like I said, a neutral oil, so I used vegetable oil. And then this fry is going to happen really quick, and you don't want it to be fried crispy, you want it to be fried so it's pliable. So what I do is I shake off as much oil as I can. I put it on my clean, dry towel to try to absorb some of that oil. Put my next tortilla in, so while I'm stuffing this tortilla with its stuff, dab some of that oil off. I can put a little bit of my sweet potato in, a little bit of my beans in, flip my next tortilla, and then you're going to roll this up as tightly as you can. Don't want to rip anything though. And it's going to be kind of hot. Then you're just going to put it in your pan one by one, and we're going to line them up until your whole pan is full with your tortillas. As you can see here, I have my full pan of enchiladas. These are uncooked. So I'm going to take my enchilada sauce, and if you remember, I put a little bit in the bottom of my pan already. And I'm just going to put some on top, straight down the middle of each row. But I'm going to leave a little bit left in my can, because what happens in the cooking process is your tortillas absorb some of the sauce, which is great and tasty, but if you don't leave any of the sauce remaining, then you're gonna have kind of dry enchiladas, and if you want them to be saucy at all, I save some until like the last 5 to 10 minutes of cooking, put them on, put it on again, so my enchiladas are actually moist when I take them out. Those are cooking now, and while we wait for those to cook, I'm going to make something that I like to sprinkle on top, which is diced red onion with a little bit of lime and cilantro and salt. Okay, so I have my diced red onion, I have a lime wedge, and I have my cilantro. I'm just gonna dump all this into my bowl here. I'm gonna mix it all together. Take out my lime wedge and just dump that on in. Squeeze your lime wedge on top, and you can kind of taste this and play it by ear. And then put a fair amount of salt on there, because salt makes everything taste better. Get something to mix it up with. So, the mixture is whatever you want it to be. If you don't like cilantro, which, shame on you if you don't. If you don't like cilantro, then you can leave that out. If you want tomatoes, you can throw some tomatoes in. But there's the final result. I might add a little more red onion, but this is just going to be sprinkled on top of my enchiladas with some cheese, and we're going to call it a day after that. Okay, so I just pulled out my enchiladas. I added the last bit of sauce to the top, and I added some cheese. I'm going to put this in for 5 more minutes, and I'm going to turn on the broil button, if you will, and just brown the cheese on top. And then they'll be done. Okay, so I just removed my enchiladas from the oven. They got a little brown on the edges, but no big. I went ahead and put my onion and cilantro and lime on top, and they are finished. You got some enchiladas glow on your hands. So thanks for watching. Sour creamy. Top.